paper.
Commissioner Davis, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. My video is not coming on. I may need to restart my laptop.
Okay.
I do. Are you okay if I hand over? I'm just going to go ahead and make you a co-host anyway.
Okay.
Okay. Commissioner Redmond, I'm going to make you a co-host as well.
Okay.
All right, yeah, that's not working. All right, everyone.
No problem. Okay.
Right?
No.
Hello, everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good evening.
Good afternoon, Captain Barnes, Mr. Norris.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Commissioner Redmond.
Good evening. Hello. Long time no hear.
Good evening. How's everyone's rainy day going?
You don't want to know.
Can't be that bad.
Can't handle the truth.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, we good.
We're waiting on our chair to restart her computer. Her visual is not working. Her camera isn't working. Okay, there she is.
Okay, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for bearing with me. I definitely have some tech issues that I will have to figure out after the call. Good afternoon. I am going to share my screen. Sorry, around so much. I am going to share my screen so that everyone can get the agenda for tonight. Hi, Commissioner Redmond. See you.
Bye.
And hello, everyone. Welcome to ANCAA. Thank you. Please let us know who's here with us. Join us in the chat. Let us know who you are, who you're representing. If you have any questions to start off, please go ahead and start getting them lined up. Commissioner Freeman is here. We're going to go ahead and call a quorum. So I'm going to share my screen with the agenda for tonight. All right. Let me know if you all can see tonight's agenda. I'm trying to make my screen bigger. And all right, we have a pretty good meeting tonight. We're coming back off of a recess from April. So after our roll call and approve our agenda, we'll go right into community discussions. Then have a 6th and 7th district and PD updates. And then we have some guest speakers who are gonna be talking to us tonight. We have ACC that's here for announcement, but we'll call ACC up in the community discussion part. Then we have Popular Point, we have House of Ruth, we have a housing zoning request, and then we have an update from DDOT's Historic Anacostia District. I think we have Councilmember Henderson's office joining us tonight. They have committed to attending every ANC meeting to fill in council support, and we may have someone from the chair's office. We'll have to see. If the milkers are on, we'll have some updates, and then we'll end the night with our votes. We're gonna be looking at our FY25 Q2 budget, not budget, finance report. I will update in the minutes. The ANC wants to vote on a debit card, and commissioners, I would like to add a vote to send a letter to DCPS Chancellor about the removal of Ketchum Principle. So I would like to talk about that when we have commission votes. So that is our agenda for tonight. Anything can be added. We are not going to be approving our minutes. Tonight, we will be approving them either at the June meeting or later meeting that we have in May, because we always have so many meetings a month. And that's because the commissioner wasn't able to finish. So can I get a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
I approve it.
All right, can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner- All right, all in agreement, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
I heard you, Commissioner McKinney. All right, let's do roll call. Commissioner Davis, 8A01.
Present.
Commissioner, no, you're not 8A01. What am I
Oh,
talking
right,
about?
I'm on 3. You always see me first.
I see you first, 8A03. Commissioner Freeman, 8A02.
Here.
Commissioner McKinney, 8A06.
Here.
Commissioner Redmond, 8A07.
Here, present.
And Commissioner White, 805 present. The time is 7:06. We have a quorum. We have 5 commissioners present. All right, everyone, we're gonna go right into our community updates and discussions. Let's start with the commissioners. Do you all have any announcements for the community or updates you want to give before we start that discussion? And we'll start with you, Commissioner Davis.
I wanted to inform the community that I've worked with J&D Convenience Store. They removed the storage container that was an issue for the community that was creating a rodent infestation issue. I worked with Minnesota Liquors and got a fence installed to cordon off the trash cans, but that is still an issue that's in a work in progress. Also worked with Galilee Church across the street and got them to install a beautiful wrought iron gate to keep the illegal activity off of their property. So I am making progress in the community. And if you have any other pressing issues that you want me to work on, feel free to put it in the chat or give me a call.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Davis. Commissioner Foreman.
Only thing I've been working on, I've had a rash of plants being stolen in the neighborhood. It sounds funny, but some of them are high value. You have a couple of $100, $300 here and there. And last night we caught a couple of individuals cross street. They were back for the second time. So MPD showed up and they were handling it. That and we're just trying to get the parks taken care of. Yeah. So we're working on that. Hopefully next time they'll be nice and clean.
Yeah.
Cut.
Yeah.
The grass is very, very high.
Thank you.
That's
Are you
it.
talking about Anacostia? Which park specifically?
All of the triangle parks we have up and down Minnesota Avenue here.
Mhm.
Those are the main ones. They're just overgrown.
Okay.
It was I guess there was a thing there. Folks didn't know who was supposed to take care of it, but I think it'll be taken care of real quick
Okay.
here.
Thank
All
you so
right.
much. Do want to welcome Commissioner Donahue, 8A01. We're just giving updates. Commissioner Donahue, I'll come to you last. Commissioner Redmond.
Good evening. I have been in contact with, been working with National Park Service over here with Fort Stanton and trying to get it cleaned up, but I have come up against a brick wall in regards to trying to get this historic wall repaired on Marionberry Avenue. It's almost to the point where it's a safety concern for me. Ever since they changed the routing, the plane routing pattern over National Airport, we have more helicopters that are actually flying up and down Marionberry Avenue. So it's creating more of a vibration that I'm feeling. And I'm noticing that this particular wall on Marionberry Avenue is slowly but surely disintegrating. There is a ticket in with National Park Service, but they told me that they do not have a mortar within their staffing. So if anyone's available that can reach out, let me know. 202-696-3081. I'm trying to tackle that issue there. I'm also trying to get them to come back out and cut the grass. There's another issue, like Commissioner Freeman stated. We look like we're Tarzan in a jungle over here. They have not cut any of their grass, cut back the trails or anything to that extent. So that is an issue. I have reached out to National Boy Scout Troop of America. They're actually going to come out and volunteer to do some service work for me. But this brick and mortar work is more of a safety concern for me right now. It's more of a liability. So anything else? I think right about now, I will be scheduling a single member district in June at 2300 Marionberry Avenue. So please reach out. I'll put my information in the contacts.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Redmond. And we can loop in DPR if you haven't looped in DPR to the conversation to maybe help with MPS. I'm not sure if the MOCRS is going to be on because Wendy Glenn is out of office for a couple of days. So we can follow.
DPR came out with for the initial inspection of the property. And this is one of them things where when I'm dealing with agencies, okay, well, if I need to get tree service done, they're telling me I need to reach out to this person. If I need to get mortar work done, I need to reach out. I've also talked to Council Member Henderson's office, so I'll follow up with them as well. But it's one of them type things where if I need different work done, I'm getting points of contact in different agencies, and it's a lot.
It's confusing. I'll connect with you all offline. Okay. We can navigate it. And I'll also put you in touch with Nathan from Ward 8 Woods. He's an 8A resident to maybe help come out with some cleaning.
He's been out.
Oh, he's been out. Okay, good. You have it covered.
Okay, he's been out.
Yeah.
It's just getting the Park Service to do their part. Now it's like cutting the grass and stuff.
Yeah. And then all right. Commissioner McKinney, do you have any updates, announcements?
No, not at the moment. I'll come back. We have a couple of my constituents that's on here that have concerns that's representing the whole community. I want to give them a chance to make sure that they have enough time to voice everything that's concerning them.
Thank you, Commissioner McKinney. Commissioner Donahue. Okay.
In the middle of my computer. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your time. Just a couple of quick things. We have made significant progress in regards to the properties at 19th Street, 1511, 1507, which have been abandoned and have had constant issues in regards to high drug traffic. I literally did a DOB inspection with this property a couple of days ago and literally walked into a woman across the stairs who had recently, engaged in some drug activity and was out, had to call 911. This was literally why we were doing the actual inspection of this building. Been in contact with the Office of the Attorney General, who has also been assisting. It looks like the property owners and their representatives are very much engaged, and it looks like we're going to get some great movement on this property that hasn't had movement in quite some time. So they're looking at doing an expansion of an additional floor and completely gutting it on the inside. They've already secured some funding for it. And so that's really good news. And I appreciate all of our partners at DOB and the Office of the Attorney General who have played a role in helping assist in moving that forward. Additionally, I do have some concerning news that I want to share with you. Give me 1 second. This evening, as you know, we've been challenged with some activity that's been going on over at Boone Elementary. We have been literally reporting.
What kind of activity, if you're able to say, so we can understand?
Okay, so we've had multiple break-ins at the school.
Okay.
Over Easter weekend, there was a break-in, and then on Friday, we had somebody literally saw off the gate to the school, providing a direct pathway into the school. Principal and I have been in close contact with each other. This same night earlier, I had reported some individuals being on the property. MPD came over. DCPS police came over, took them about 2 hours, an hour and a half, 2 hours to get there. And so I believe this must have happened after my report. They're still investigating it. They do have video of the event. I don't know if maybe one of our MPD partners can elaborate a little bit on it. I'm just learning of this now. But we are working with the school to identify additional steps we can take, including I've prepared a draft resolution to encourage the school district to make some changes to the fence and things like that. So hopefully I'll have that resolution available and ready to go for our next meeting. But it's very concerning and frustrating as we continue to try to, get this situation under control. It is very important for all of the commissioners in 8A to know that the principal does not want anyone on the school property on the playground after hours. We've had now 2 break-ins, and we've done our best at, if you see somebody report it, MPD's aware. We're not trying to get anyone in trouble or anything. It's more shooting, sort of, letting people know they don't want them on there, and prevent this type of thing from happening. So those
yeah. Can I also recommend you loop in our State Board of Education representative, LaJoy Johnson Law? You can also copy at-large Jock Peterson, who lives in Ward 8. And I will also copy in Chair Mendelson. We don't have an education committee on the council. It's under the council of the whole. So I will copy in the chair as well to keep that, elevated, right? All right. Well, thank you. Sorry. Thanks, Commissioner. Any more before I turn it over to community?
I'll be meeting with the school and MPD. I think Commissioner Davis as well. This or next week, I think it is. About this.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely recommend you can try to see if you can get the SBOE there, because they'll be able to advocate with DCPS. All right. Thank you, Commissioner, for that update. All right, let's go over to the community. We have several community folks who have some announcements and requests. So let's go ahead and start with Phil Pinnell. Can we start with you? And then after Phil, we're going to go to Arrington Dixon, if you're still on the line. I think I saw your face. But the name might be R. McKinney. Okay, there we go. So we'll go to Phil first, and then we're going to come over to you. Then we're going to go to Andrew and then Kay. So that's the order. I'm not going to call y'all after you finish. You can just go one after another.
Well, thank you very much, Madam Chairwoman, and good evening, commissioners and members of the community. For the first time in 43 years, the Anacostia Coordinating Council will have its own home. And for those of you who are not familiar with ACC, it is a 43-year-old nonprofit organization. It's a membership organization of individuals and organizations that are involved with enhancing the quality of life of Anacostia and its adjacent neighborhoods by engaging in information gathering and sharing, networking, community advocacy, and organizing. And we invite everyone to come to our open house. We're in the historic district. We're in ANC 8A. The address is 1916 13th Street, Southeast. Thank you, Commissioner, for posting the flyer. That's, as you can see, Thursday, May 22nd, from 5 to 8. And we're very excited, and we will be even more excited to see our neighbors come to the open house. And another announcement I would like to make is that for the past 32 years, ACC has hosted monthly luncheon meetings. We meet the last Tuesday of each month, except December, from 11:30 to 1:30 at Martha's Table, 2375 Elvins Road, Southeast. And this month, on May 27th, our featured guest will be Mayor Bowser, where she will be engaging in her 5th annual community conversation at the ACC meeting. So thank you so much for this opportunity to make those announcements.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Everything. Phil, as you all know, has been in almost every role in this district, so we appreciate you. And if anyone has any questions for Phil about ACC or the open house, please put those in the chat or come off mute. And I do want to recognize that the last ANC commission actually supported McKeedy in getting the zoning changed so the Anacostia House could be possible. So we are really glad to see that they stood firm on their commitment that a local organization would be going in there. So thank you so much. All right, we seeing no questions, we're gonna go ahead to Councilmember Dixon. Over to you. You're on mute.
I'm mute. Thank you all for giving me the time. Always a pleasure to be with the ANCs. I'm not there as much as I should be, but I'm gonna be more. I need to be. I've put in the chat a link. It's called dccarelink.org. I would encourage all the commissioners to hopefully capture that and go to it. Not necessarily now, but when you go to it, you will see the work that my company, you know, ADA Inc. has been here since 1985 on Shannon Place, working out of my basement office in our community in Anacostia River East. And we're here doing that, bringing the system up. We've been at it for about 4 months now. The system does this. First of all, it will connect referrals to providers. And what I'm really encouraging you all to do is look at it as referrers. There is a link within within this webpage that says referrals. You can refer, like the gentleman was speaking, one of the commissioners was speaking about running into someone who had a drug problem in the street. If you get them to agree, you can put their information, we have some basic stuff, into our system, and it will get referred to entities that we are identifying that can offer services to them. So it's a referral system that I'm trying to encourage all the ANCs to be able to use. It's free, doesn't cost anything. The city has purchased a package to allow this to happen. So if you go to that link, it will explain many things about what we do. And I would like to request, for purpose of brevity, that we get, maybe I can come back to you and talk with you more about what we're doing. But I would like to encourage you now to be able to look at the link, and you can right away now start making referrals. So anybody you run into, if you put in their name and maybe their address and other basic information and what they need, there's a list. You can check, and you can check, I agree that they want to submit, goes into a database and hooks up with services all over the city. So at least we're primarily in Ward 8 and 7 this time. That's my pitch. Thank you all very much for the time.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you, and we will be sending out more information. I do want to recognize that Commissioner Moore has joined. We have a full house.
I would I would also want to say that we do have a screen that would like to put up, but I don't have it around.
You
That
can-
tells you the referrals. There is a list of entities that already are built into our system that you can go to right away yourself without having to put a person in. You can do it right away to it. These are entities that are available and working and looking for background. So that's a page which we'll have to get to the commission ASAP. Thank you.
You're welcome. And if you put it in the chat, we'll show it before the end of the night sometime.
I'm hoping somebody listening could do that for me, who might have that page. I'll look for it. Thank you.
Commissioner could maybe find that page for me, please, one of the commissioners, dccarelink.org, and we can screen share it. All right, I think we have Andrew.
Commissioner White, this is Jared Powell. Thanks. We're actually sharing. No, we're actually sharing Andrew's. We have a household computer tonight, so thanks for calling on Andrew. I have two announcements on behalf of HABA. So the first one is we are doing our monthly neighborhood cleanup on Saturday, May 17th. Standard meeting location is at 13th NV Street. We'll be meeting at 10 a.m. Folks just need to show up. We'll provide the gloves, the pickers, the coffee, all that good stuff, and we'll hit the streets that we've adopted through the Office of Open Streets. The second announcement is very exciting for us. So everyone is aware that we have a special election coming up on Tuesday, July 15th. HABA will be hosting its first candidate forum for the Ward 8 special election. That's going to take place on Monday, June 2nd at 6:30 p.m. at Union Temple Baptist Church. It'll be from 6:30 to 8 o'clock. We've invited and confirmed the candidates so far. And even more exciting, it's going to be moderated by Tom Sherwood, who folks know as a local political analyst, and he is a frequent contributor on the Kojo Show on NPR. So that's going to be at Union Temple Baptist Church. We have several sponsors for this event lined up, including Casey Trees. Chairwoman White has actually expressed interest in supporting on the ANC 8A. We have Busboys and Poets, Fairlawn Civic Association, and the original Great Ward 8. So we're looking for folks to actually prioritize coming out and being present for this special election. Again, it's going to be on Monday, June 2nd at 6:30 p.m. at Union Temple Baptist Church. We'll be sharing out the communication on the listservs, etc. So please reach out to us if you have any sort of questions, and we'll put it in the chat.
Thank you so much, Jared. We appreciate that. And if you send us those graphics, we'll send those out as well. All right, I think we have Kay. And any other community members, if you have questions or announcements, please raise your hand or put them in the chat.
Hi, good evening. I'm Miss Ivy. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I was in the chat, I had put my concerns about the vegetation that's located on the even side of Morris Road Southeast. I put in a service request and they replied back that that was in a sidewalk, and I'm like, oh wow. So it's vegetation, it's going into the street, in the road. So you start off on the even side of 13, I guess, I'm sorry, it's the odd side of the 1300 block of Morris Road. You start off there, probably near 1375, and you're walking down 1345, and that's where the vegetation in the sidewalks gets small. Then you have to go in the street or across the street in order to finish your route, going down towards, I guess, Anacostia or Martin Luther King Avenue. And I put in that service request. They stated that, hey, that's not a street. I'm like, yeah, it is a street. I mean, a sidewalk. I'm sorry. They said it's not a sidewalk. But I do have that service request number. I don't know if you want me to put it in the chat.
No, Miss Ivy, if you can email that to me and Commissioner McKinney, we actually have DDOT on. I don't know if Keith, are you here? You always come to our meetings. I know that we have Preston here from DDOT, but if you can email that to Commissioner McKinney and myself, we'll follow up via email.
Yes, and also, the other concern that we've been going through for years
Yes, ma'am.
regarding the alleyway. We haven't had our trash picked up in 5 weeks because we received a letter from Mr. White stating to roll our trash cans in the I live in the middle of the block. So
Mhm.
the heavy trash cans filled with trash in the alleyway, which is cratered. I mean, it's really bad. The alleyway is horrible because years and years of neglect and not being repaved. You can't roll nothing down there without probably clipping up. So I did not do that to refrain from hurting myself.
Mhm.
I did not roll my trash can, nor a couple of other I guess homeowners, they're renters. One of them, they do not speak English. So when they dropped the letter in their mailbox, they probably didn't read it.
Yeah.
So we have a couple of trash cans back there overfilled, and rats definitely been in there because it's her holes in the bags.
Yeah. Miss Ivy, I'm sorry y'all are dealing with this. DPW assured us they would get it this week. I'll follow up with DPW tomorrow. There is a lack of leadership right now in the DPW. Their director and then their deputy has kind of left. We do have some representatives from the council on our call. Kelly, who you all see in the chat, Kelly is on Kelly Sislo. She's from Council Member Kenya McDuffie's office. And so Kelly, I'd love for you to follow up too, but also I'll send this to Brianna Nadeau. But DPW did say they're gonna come and get y'all trash out the alley, but I know we need a permanent solution. I'll also connect you with rat abatement so you can get them to come out.
Okay, thank you. So I tried to do rat abatement before. I mean, one time they did, and then they said, oh no, it's a private alley. So I don't know. I never heard of a private alleyway that has the trash trucks come back there and recycling trucks and any other trucks come back there to do their thing, and it's private.
No, you can get rat abatement. You can get rat abatement even if it's private. So.
Okay, thank you so much.
To reply. And then Kelly put her contact in the email from you. Oh, and Keith, yes, he is there. So Keith Jones, Miss Ivy, if you look in the chat, he's from DDOT. He gave you his contact and some information. And then Kelly from Councilmember McDuffie's office. But Commissioner McKinney and I also will follow up with you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you, everyone. We have such a good community discussion tonight. All right, I think we have next in line for community, we have Kay. I'm sorry, Kay, I can't pronounce your last name. We're going to have Tricia, and then we're going to have Darrell Gaston. And then this is going to be my last call for any community announcements. Put it in the chat or raise your hand. Okay, Kay, over to you.
All right, thank you very much, Commissioner. So this may be part of the zoning discussion, so I don't want to overtake the conversation because it may be discussed a little bit later, but it's just concerning 2413 Shannon Place Southeast, which is a vacant to vibrant property. And there is a special exception request to turn this 2-family residential lot into a 32-bed medical facility. And so I'd like to speak to the community a little bit more about proposing opposition for this special exception, but I can delay my comments until the zoning conversation a little bit later this evening. Over.
Thank you, Kay, so much. The developer actually emailed us today. They had to unexpectedly go out the country, so they asked if they could come in June. So if you want to just give a couple of remarks now, the hearing is in July because the ANC, we reached out and asked them to delay the hearing so we could learn more. But if you want to just give a couple of notices so people can understand what's happening at the community effort, and then we'll have them back in June once they're back in the country.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm happy to pop into the chat the petition that's been started as well. So for those of you that are familiar with, Shannon Place, we're located very close to the Anacostia Metro Station. There's a vacant lot that was sold to a developer known by GAH Development LLC a few years ago as part of the Vacant to Vibrant program. So this is a program through the District of Columbia that looks at converting vacant lots into either affordable housing or green spaces. And as part of the sale of the lot, there was actually an affordable housing covenant as well as a construction covenant that the developer or that the person purchasing the property needed to abide by. And we learned through neighbors of ours that recently the developer has requested to convert the lot from RF1 zoning, which is 2-unit residential family zoning, into zoning that would allow for a medical facility. And this medical facility, I'm just going to read from the proposal that was submitted, was to operate a 32-bed healthcare facility to provide inpatient rehabilitation for patients with post-surgical, neurological, and long-term conditions such as dementia at 2413 Shannon Place Southeast, Washington, D.C. And so in speaking to neighbors that live on Shannon Place Southeast, as well as neighbors that live in the Anacostia community, there are a couple of concerns that we've raised. The first being that this is a flagrant violation of the district's Vacant to Vibrant DC initiative. The purpose of the program was to provide for affordable housing or green spaces. There's also a concern regarding the suitability for medical use. So those that are familiar to Shannon Place, the lot is located directly across from Savoy Elementary School. It's also a residential street, which begs the question of, is this suitable for medical use? The building is constructed, it's not fully constructed, but it is not suitable for a medical facility. There is no elevator, there are no ADA compliant features. We're also concerned about traffic and noise. So with the 32-bed facility, the proposal states that there will be 2 to 3 full-time medical staff. We're concerned how deliveries, emergency services, shift changes will impact students on the street, as well as residents that are living on Shannon Place and in the surrounding neighborhood. And there's also a question of the demonstrated need. Recently we have a new first-class medical facility, Cedar Hill Regional Medical Center, which offers acute and inpatient care. It's a 407,000 square foot hospital that's expected not only to provide general hospital services, but also specialized care. So there's a question as to what the developer is intending to do and why. And it's a huge concern for those of us that live on Shannon Place Southeast, and one that we hope the ANC will support in terms of opposing the special exception request for this lot. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Kay. Can you send us this? We actually have a land use attorney now. We as the ANC, we had a land use attorney, if you all remember when we were negotiating CBAs, but the OANC has now hired a land use attorney for all ANCs. And I just want to run this by him too.
Okay. Yeah, I'll pop the petition in the chat.
Okay. If you email it, it's better because then it'll be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Email it
All
to you.
And Commissioner McKinney, because it's her
Okay.
SMD.
Okay.
Perfect. All right. Let's quick. Christina Hansen, we're gonna go over to you. And then after Christina, Darrell Gaston, Patricia Stanford, Sheila Bunn, and ending it with Ayana Long. And then we have one update from our communications consultant, Akuate. Christina, over to you.
Hey everyone, I started dropping a few notes in the chat. I'm down to 1% on my phone battery. So if I cut off, that is why. I will log on to my laptop shortly. But Ketchum and Savoy Elementary Schools will both be receiving new principals for the upcoming school year. And so just want to ask that if you live near either of those school communities, your support in advocating for the school communities, that their voice is actually heard in terms of the leadership that they desire. DCPS has a habit of those in central office selecting who they think is best, and most often, on too many occasions, school communities east of the river receive new leadership that do not know the community outside of the school walls. And so we'll share more about that. We'll pass that over to you, Commissioner White, if there are any letters or anything that we desire for community support. Ketchum Elementary School is also preparing for a full-scale modernization of their building. So I would love to connect with HABA to ensure that if there's anything needing historical preservation of Ketchum's building or on the school grounds, that HABA supports Ketchum's school improvement team with that, particularly since they'll be receiving new leadership and We want to make sure that the school community, any historical preservation that is necessary is maintained through that process. And then I will drop in the chat when I get back on my laptop as on behalf of CARE Anacostia, which I should have named. Hi, I'm Christina, Executive Director of CARE Anacostia. We are working to launch an Adopt a Block project within our Ward 8 community to support safe passage. So we are looking for community volunteers to help adopt blocks that go beyond DC government safe passage locations to help ensure that our students are able to transition to and from school safely. So I will drop flyers about that as well.
Thank you so much, Christina. Yes, please let's connect because I do want to put up a resolution about Ketchum. I actually want to connect with you before I bring it to the commission because I'm very concerned about the principal change. So I would love to connect like maybe later on this week or next week. Okay, thank you. Darrell Gaston.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So the name is Darrell Gaston, owner of Kitchen Savages. I just want to provide the commission a little update. So as everyone know, there was a major electrical pole down 2 days ago that broke and penetrated the wall of Kitchen Savages. Thankfully, nothing caught fire inside the restaurant, but there seem to be a few structural things that need to be repaired. And so right now, we don't plan to open probably no time soon, but I just wanted to give the chairperson just an update as we enter year 3. And then also too, sometime next month, I owe the ANC an ANC night for their support of us opening up 2 years ago. And then also we will be celebrating our 2nd year anniversary being here in Anacostia. And so I want to thank everyone for the calls, the prayers. Luckily, it happened at 2:30 in the morning. But it could have been much worse. It could have been a lot of damage happening. And when we talk about restaurants or businesses closing because of violence, I was one of those folks that said, you know what, violence isn't so impactful. But when you have someone in a car chase from another car that was shooting at them, run into a lamppost and you indirectly impacted, you see what the cause of violence is in this community. And so again, I just want to give an update to the commission for those of you who have reached out to us and for your concern and for your prayers.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Gaston. We are definitely keeping you in our prayers, and please let the community know any way that they can get in touch with you or support you. And everyone, this is Kitchen Savages. For those who don't know, there was an accident there earlier. I know we have 6 and 7D online. I'm still hoping they're here, but hopefully we can get a more of an update. Okay, let's go to, I think we had next Patricia Stanford, then Sheila Bond, and then Ayana.
Hi, Commission AA. My name is Patricia Stanford.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Stanford.
I'm sorry. Let me shut up. I'm sorry.
No. I meant to call you Commissioner Stanford. My bad for not addressing you as Commissioner. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Over to you, Commissioner.
Hi, my name is Patricia Stanford. I represent the communities of Burville and Deanwood over in the northeast side of Ward 7, 7C06. I have introduced legislation and proposed it to the council and to my colleagues. I want to change the way we do ANC meetings. I really believe that we are not engaging with the full community. There are so many parents when I campaigned and knocked on doors that say, I would love to come to an ANC meeting, but I don't have childcare. I am proposing that instead of the archaic law that's on the books now, the only way an ANC commissioner can be reimbursed for childcare is it's in the process of their duty. So the only time any ANC commissioner in the whole city can get reimbursed for childcare if it's at a public meeting for 2 hours. What I'm proposing is that we change the law and that we use OANC funds to provide childcare at each and every ANC meeting throughout the city. It will change the dynamic. It will bring our seniors with their grandkids. It will bring different levels of the community together. I want to share that. That was one thing. The other thing is I put it in the chat. It's about RFK, and you can read it. I don't want to take up any more of your time. Thank you, Commissioner, for letting me share. Y'all have a blessed one, 8A.
Thank you so much. Thank you for advocating for our families. And please share that legislation so people can see how they can support it and hopefully get it introduced.
I have emailed it to every Ward 8 commissioner, every council member, and their legislative director, including mine. So please check your emails, commissioners. With love, from Patricia Stamper.
Thank you so much. We'll look at it to see maybe we'll do a resolution in June to support it. Thank you, Commissioner. All right, Ayana Long.
Hi, I just had a question. I know that there's been like a recent New York Times investigation about Therma, specifically in Ontario, Canada. And so I was just wondering if there's been any reconsideration about Therma as the anchor tenant for Poplar Point, given the investigation.
That is a beautiful question. Can I ask you if we can table that until we have the Poplar Point discussion? We have Whit Smith from DEMPED here, and I think he'll be the best position to answer that. Is that okay?
Yes, yes.
Thank you, my dear. We'll get to them within the next 10, 15 minutes. Akua, can you give your comms update?
Sure can. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Commissioner. As the Commissioner said, I am the communications consultant for ANCAA and wanted to share some of the updates that I've been working on. First, I will go ahead and share my screen. So one of the first things that I'm working on is creating social media presence for the ANC, and I wanted to share, and I'll drop the link in the chat. The ANC 8A has a Facebook and Instagram page that is here. I will be working on updates. So far, I do have information about how to submit updates for newsletters here. We have a form. By the end of this month, we are looking to distribute a monthly newsletter on behalf of the entire 8A, all of the districts. And so I've created a form so that if you have any updates, you can share it there. So if you need the link, it's right here. It's this Facebook post with the Google form link here. We also are starting a listserv with Gaggle Mail. And so we invite everyone to join the listserv where we'll share community updates. That post is here with that link as well. When you click on Gaggle Mail, on the link here, you are asked for your name and email address to sign up. So we would like you to opt into our listserv where we'll be doing daily updates, and it'll send out a digest to the members that are included. So that link is there to sign up for the listserv. And finally, just wanted to show the form for the newsletter submission. This form is also on the Facebook page and can be linked. It just includes the name, the organization you represent, a photo, the type of information, the type of organization that you are, if you're located in Ward 8 or outside, the district that you belong to. Phone number is optional. And the type of update it is, whether it's neighborhood highlights, good news, so on and so forth. These all are aligned with the newsletter structure. And so they'll go into these different sections that we're developing for it. And then just a title for your update and a short description for it. And then if there is like an expiration date for the story that you are looking to submit, we'd love for you to share that here. And then also a link to get more information. And then there's also a consent here to be added to our email distribution. So once you submit with your email information, we'll add you to the list. We encourage all of you to sign up for the Facebook, be friends with the Facebook page, follow the Facebook page for more updates, and looking forward to sharing more updates. I'm working on some other communication tasks, including logo design and some other things, but just wanted to share what's been worked on so far and looking forward to connecting with you online. Thanks.
Thank you so much for everyone who has recommended over the years. We improve our communications and have more avenues. We are so appreciative of being able to do so. And just for folks to know we received the grant from the OANC to provide that communication support. So starting in June, you will no longer be getting my emails. Everything is going to be pushed through these listservs and newsletters. So watch out for how to sign up. We'll be providing that instruction every meeting so you can know, but we recommend you all to start signing up. We also voted in the last ANC meeting to apply to the Office of ANC Technical Assistance Fund to hire an administrative assistant to help us keep track of some things, to help with some internal filings. The ANC is a lot of work, a lot of paperwork for those who don't know on the back end. And so to be able to provide some more operational and administrative support. A lot of ANCs used to do this, and a lot of ANCs across the city. So we are accepting applications. Akua, can you drop the link? Oh, you already put the Facebook profile. Can you drop the link for how people can apply for our admin? We created a little graphic so you can apply for that admin consultant position. And we're hoping that we can get someone from Ward 8 and potentially who lives in our ANC to provide that support. So, please apply and share that opportunity. The next thing, okay, that's it for me on that. And then I think the last hand we have raised is Sheila Bunn, and then we're gonna send it after Sheila. Preston, you can just come on and introduce what's happening at DDOT, and then we'll start our discussion on Poplar Point, which will be, oh, sorry, then we're gonna go to MPD, and then we'll talk about Poplar Point, which will be our main conversation tonight. So Sheila?
Good evening, neighbors. Thank you, Madam Chair. Just information sharing. It was announced about a HABA candidates forum, but just want to make sure that we don't forget about our young people. On this coming Wednesday, the 21st, there is a youth-led Ward 8 candidates forum right at Thurgood Marshall Academy from 5 to 7 p.m. So please, please, please encourage young people in your neighborhood to come out and to participate, because we want to make sure that their voice is heard in this election. Again, that is Wednesday, the 21st, 5 to 7 p.m. at Thurgood Marshall Academy. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And for those who don't know, that is in 8A06. Commissioner Donahue, can I save you for last?
Yeah, I was just going to say something, ask Ms. Bunn a quick question. I know that
Oh,
she
go ahead.
up at 22nd and Naylor, I think it's starting to fall down. If she could maybe address it so it doesn't fall down, that would be great.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks, Commissioner. Okay, let me go back to Preston. How long is your update gonna take?
Under a minute.
Okay.
Hey folks, my name is Preston Judy. I'm the project manager for the MLK Marionberry Safety and Connectivity Study. I am hitting enter and dropping a link to the NOI for the historic Anacostia neighborhood safety improvements, which were a recommendation from the MLK Marionberry study. So you can view the notice of intent, which is us giving official notice that we plan to move forward with these recommendations. My contact's in there. Feel free to reach out with any questions. We've already heard from folks at Union Temple and from folks with HABA. These plans will provide full parking on both sides of the block in front of Union Temple Baptist Church. They include some minor revisions based on some specific feedback we heard from residents. And we are working to coordinate with HABA regarding potential partnering with planter maintenance. We are reducing flex posts based on loud and clear comments from the public. So we're working to incorporate all of that. That's all I've got. If you have any questions, reach out. If that link does not work, I will quietly in the background work to provide a link that does work.
I was just gonna say, when I go to it, it says you've been blocked or something. Sorry, you've been blocked. So you might.
I may have provided the DDOT link. I will try to find the public link. Apologies.
Preston, I also got an email today. It was like a bunch of NOIs around Fairlawn. Are you able to speak to those two or no?
Those I'm not, just to this one.
Okay, I got, and Commissioner Donahue, you were copied because it's 8A01. Okay, thank you. So let's go ahead to Captain Barnes. Captain Barnes, over to you. Thank you for hanging in there with us. We wanted to make sure we use this meeting. We heard you all from community loud and clear to allow a lot of time for community discussion. So we wanted to make sure we had that for this meeting.
I'm sure the.
Go ahead, Captain Barnes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm representing 6 districts tonight. Things I want to just go over is that we've increased enforcement in the Fairlawn community in terms of motor vehicle traffic violation as well as parking enforcement. I have also assigned a unit to Boone Elementary to assist with just monitoring the school and preventing any kind of burglaries or break-ins at the school. I'm just getting back off the scene from a homicide, unfortunately, and the homicide took place in the 4500 block of Benning Road at the Benco. I know it's not related to Fairlawn or ANC. However, I just want to make the community aware of it. Right now, it's in the infancy stages. We're investigating it, but preliminary investigation shows that the suspect and the victim knew each other very well. I'm literally just walking back in the building from the homicide scene. It should be on the news shortly. Does anybody have any questions for 6D?
So sorry to hear this. Does anyone have any questions? Let's start with the commissioners in Fairlawn. Commissioner Donahue, Davis, and Foreman, and Redmond. Go ahead, Davis.
If I can just get contact info, I'll follow up.
Okay.
You able to put your contact in?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, I appreciate the attention to Boone and you know, we've been trying to enforce, you know, the 20 Minnesota Avenue with the school being there. One thing that I did notice and that I spoke to Officer anyway, about his name, I can't think of his name at the moment, is there is a 15-minute there's a 15-minute parking zone in front of 2200, and we'd like to see if for a period of time we can get that enforced. And I did put a 311 in for DPW to come through and enforce the parking sign, the 15-minute parking sign up until 6:30 p.m. However, they responded back to me saying that they were concerned about their safety, so they wouldn't do it. So looks like I might need some cooperation with you guys. Again, if we can, you know, give reason for the activity to move off of that block, if it's because they're parked there and we can, you know, give them the move because they've been sitting there for 15 minutes or whatever. You know, we're trying in everything possible to encourage that. And the other thing is the pedestrian traffic. I'm glad to hear that you're focusing on that too, especially at 19th Street, where we have the blinking lights. I had suggested that if we could, if we're able to, some of the residents around that block had said that they've seen other places where you could hit the, you know, an officer could be in the pedestrian walkway, they'll hit the button, and if they don't stop, then they have somebody down the road that they can radio to and issue a traffic citation for not respecting the pedestrian walkway. They are the citizens of that block are very concerned that there's going to be an issue because nobody is respecting that pedestrian walkway, even with the attention, the lights that are there. So again, I appreciate all your help with Boone and the new attention in Fairlawn. Thank you.
No problem. I'll send my traffic officers in the morning to assist with the pedestrian violations and issues and things of that nature down there in the Fairlawn community. Also, I had the evening guy or lady go down there as well and conduct traffic enforcement for those that do not respect the pedestrian walkway. That's definitely something we could assist with. Just keep in mind that as we previously spoke before, you know, a lot of times the members in that area are responding to calls for service, but I could dedicate, you know, a couple of hours, especially after a school dismissal or in the morning time when the students are going in or when there's heavy foot traffic in the area. I could dedicate them down there to conduct the traffic enforcement.
Is there any way to possibly get a camera for the red light? I was speaking to the longtime there, and it said
so that the camera requests aren't through the police department. They're online. And they're associated with the Department of Public Works, and they're the ones that enforce photo radar and things of that nature. The police department doesn't enforce photo radar, unfortunately.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And that's also something you could put in with your whoever's oversee the ANC itself. Above you, they have to contact the office so they could put in a formal request for it. Okay, that's what it was told to me last time I had a meeting and someone requested a camera. But lastly, the camera enforcement is done through Department of Public Works.
That's the council, Commissioner Donahue.
Correct. Yep. Yes, ma'am. That's right. Correct.
Commissioner Davis?
I wanted to first say thank you for the police presence that has been at the Minnesota Liquors parking lot.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I wanted to ask, is that something that is going to be ongoing, or is that just, ongoing until we're able to control that problem that's going on there?
No. I mean, in the Fairlawn community, we know where our major concern areas are in 60, all right? It's going to be 2200 block of Minnesota Avenue for the most part. So what it is it is going to be something that's ongoing. And thank you for acknowledging that we do have an increased police presence down there.
Yes.
And as a result of you noticing that, I will try to double it so that we can have more officers down there, because at least, you're able to see them. So I have them down in 2200 block of Minnesota Avenue while also assisting with the issues Boone has been facing. So that's not a problem at all. And as usual, we see each other quite often. Whenever you see me, you need something, just reach out to me and I'll try my best to get it done. And that's
What about the one more last question?
Go ahead.
The barcode scanner that we're supposed to be getting for the stores up and down Minnesota corridor. Can you look into that? Because
correct.
Commander
I'll contact with the community outreach unit and see if you can put the barcodes and the scanners in the store for the officers to assist with that. Yeah, that's not a problem at all. Especially the liquor store and the convenience store on Minnesota.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Appreciate your work.
Does anybody else have any questions?
Any other questions for 6th District? This is the Fairlawn side. So the
yes, ma'am.
west side of Marionberry. We're going to get to the 7th District soon. I don't see any questions in the chat. Thank you so much, Captain Barnes.
Okay, no problem. My name is Lieutenant Roberts, but for some reason, even though I changed it in the system, it's fine. So even though I changed it in the system, it shows Captain Barr. But I'm Lieutenant Roberts. The Fairlawn community, fairly knows me, what have you. But it's good to hear from everyone. Lastly, if you had an emergency or situation, call 911. If you have a text tip or information as it pertains to, let's say, the homicide we had earlier, just text 50411, 50411, right? And if you have any questions or concern, bring them to Mr. Donahue or myself, and I'll try my best to assist with that, whether it be 60 or 70, because I know the 70 representative, Lieutenant Barnes, very well. And thank you all.
Yeah, I have one more thing. I just have one thing.
Commissioner Foreman, you'll be our last and welcome up the 7th District.
Okay. Yeah, man, I got to compliment you all on the response times in the area around here.
Yes, sir.
And your officers have been, I gotta say, extremely polite, cooperative and stuff with the neighbors. But I do have just one spot, right by Anacostia High School, where those group of apartment buildings right in front there.
Yeah, correct. I know exactly what you mean. Yes, sir.
You know what I'm talking about? The kids hang out there in the morning, in the afternoons and stuff. And, I guess they're getting a little high there. And we had a problem with them being in the alleys behind people's properties. Is there anything that you all can?
Absolutely. So next time you see them, just give us a call, and I'll have my officers be in that area prior to and moving forward. I'll send them down there in the morning time to make sure the kids go to school, what have you. I know exactly what you're talking about, though.
Yeah. Right there, Ridge Place. Yeah.
Correct. So yeah, if they're out there, just call 911. But I'll also tell the officers to make a loop by Anacostia, then going from Boone to Anacostia, taking Minnesota Avenue, if that makes sense. So basically a full circle, just making sure the area is clear.
Okay, outstanding.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Anybody else any questions?
Lieutenant.
Yeah.
Robert.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Monique Job, who's from the Ward 8 Council Office, has asked if you can repeat your contact information.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna put it inside the. I believe I put it inside the chat here, but I'll put it again. Let's try this again.
Okay, thank you so much. And while you're doing that, let's welcome up the 7th District. I do want to recognize we have the Ward 8 Council Office representative, Monique Jope, former commissioner. We also have Councilmember Kennedy McDuffie's office, who's online, and Councilmember Henderson's office. So these are the people you definitely want to connect in order to elevate your issues, community, and commissioners. Okay, you're good, Lieutenant. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank everyone, and be safe out there. If you see something, say something. Also, don't forget to call 911 emergency, and anything other outside of the emergency, you're just gonna reach out to me or your local commissioner. Take care.
Thank you. Okay. I don't know how both of y'all got the same. I guess I mixed up the names. Anyway, I'm gonna hand it over to 7D.
Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Lieutenant Barnes, Johnny Barnes, 7D, 701. For us, I think we're really doing really well in crime. For us, specifically 701, or AA for us. I think we're down for the last 30 to 60 days. We're down about 26%. Across the board, so we're down. We have no increases as far as crime. We normally track the major crimes: homicides, sex abuse, ADWs, robberies, motor vehicles thefts, theft from autos, thefts, and arson. And we're down, like I said, across the board. And all those 70 today just will be getting the crime reduction award for the city. So we've reduced crime for 2000, except for 2004, we reduced crime for the most part across the city. We've had a couple eventful issues the last couple days. We had a stolen auto that took out a transformer on Marion Barry, right there at Marion Barry and MLK, and took out power for a significant amount of hours. I think roughly about 24 hours. We had officers 6 and 7D on both sides doing our checks. We had a lot of manpower out there. We wanted to make sure that everybody stayed safe. We didn't want anybody to any of the businesses to get burglarized or anything like that. And got some good video there from Capital One on the corner. Some good video, so we should be able to make at least a closure on that. But other than that, we're doing very well as far as crime. I know it doesn't seem like it a lot, but we are reducing crime for ward for our area 8A. So we're doing good for that. Anybody have any questions?
Thank you so much. Commissioners in 8A, in PSA 701, any questions? Commissioner Moore, Commissioner McKinney, Commissioner White. I don't have any questions, but I'll get to some of them in the chat. All right. Doesn't seem like Commissioner McKinney and Commissioner Moore.
Yes.
Oh, okay, Commissioner McKinney, my bad.
No, that was it. No.
Oh, we didn't hear you.
I said no. You go to the
okay.
community.
No,
Okay.
I had a question. I was trying to find a raise my hand button. Hi, yeah, here on W Street, we've had a few shootings that was brought to my attention, and I just wasn't clear on what had took place. I believe one was last week. So if you could elaborate on what those shootings and the process of the investigation so that I can report back to some of the constituents that have reached out to me about it.
Okay. Let me pull up what we have. Sorry, my computer's down. As with any of our shootings that we have over there, we had I believe one where we had sounds of gunshots. I want to say we keep getting the same little pocket on W Street that faces some issues and some challenges. It was another group of individuals that was hanging out in both individual cases. I'm gonna have to look at the exact specifics for that because I see them down as ADWs as 2, and that was the 2 that we had. But I'm not seeing anything specific as far as the detective's notes on it. Yeah, so I'll have to check back and tell you exactly what that is, Miss Moore, and I can give you a more detailed output on that. Let me see. I think our crime stats are not fully loaded on that right now.
Lieutenant, we have a question in the chat. What is the 7D plans for the summer? And then we also have Rachel Pullum's hand, who she put in the chat. She's on your team, I think, a new captain.
Yes, Captain Pulliam is the new captain for Sector 1. So she has 701, 702, and 703. She is the new captain. Captain Hong was moved to 3D, and we got Captain Rachel Pulliam here. She's amazing.
Thank you. Do you also have the same commander?
Yeah, Commander Butler's still here.
Could I put in a request, and I can send this via email, under Commander Mackle, and then before Commander Mackle, was it Commander the tall light-skinned brother? I can't think of his name. Whenever there's a major incident in our single member district, they used to contact the single member district commissioner via text message or email to alert us, and we haven't gotten that since Commander Mackle left. And there's been a couple of changes in commanders, but I think that's something we will all appreciate to get back, is that communication. Because we don't, some people might sign up for the crime alerts or see it on social media, but we used to kind of get that more from the watch commander or whoever it was when it happened in the single member district. Because a lot of times our neighbors are like, "Where are you? Come out," even if it's like 2, 3 in the morning.
Okay.
Sometimes we go, sometimes we don't.
So major incidents.
Yeah.
Y'all in.
Okay, and then can we answer the question about like what are the plans for the summer?
Summer plans for 7D. The commander put out another plan in reference to more foot patrols for us. So we have a standing order that when officers are not on assignments, that they're to get out of the cars and actively engage, have to come across the air and actively engage the community and the citizens. So and that's from the top down. Lieutenants are doing it, the watch commanders are doing it, sergeants. So we've had that going on for probably about a week and a half, and it's shown some promise. As far as the summer is going, just in an increase in visibility for us as a whole. They put out a couple more classes for scooters and mountain bikes so that we can get officers that are out of the car a little bit more, that they're a little bit louder, a little bit more vocal. So we're doing that. And if anything changes as far as if we see an uptick in crime, the city's been really good, other districts, at bring in an influx of our specialized units. So that's our RSI units, which works pretty much 24 hours, and our Atlas units, which work pretty much 24 hours for that. And they've been doing a good job handling a lot of our quality of life issues. So we're trying to focus on those quality of life issues, move people along, handle the large gatherings, pretty much nip them in the bud as soon as they pop up. And so that's pretty much our plan for right now.
Thank you, Lieutenant. If you can put your contact information in the chat. There are some questions for you in the chat. One's from Patrick O'Keefe. He wanted to have more information about the stolen vehicle shooting, if it was coming from across the 11th Street Bridge or potentially originated in Ward 8. And then there's a question from Tracy Swan, which is also a suggestion, is to have more resources to guide traffic through the major thoroughfare. And Tracy, this is something that we've been working with DDOT. Sometimes you'll see people out there during the rush hours guiding traffic, but it basically comes back to when DDOT has money for that. I don't know if Keith Jones is online that can answer that too. And Lieutenant, if there's anything MPD can do, if you could answer that in the chat.
All right, no problem. I'm looking at Ms. Swan's.
Yeah. And then Bradley, I hear you. That is a major alley concern of ours, and I will loop you into that conversation if you send me your email address. All right. Thank you so much, Lieutenant. We're going to move on and ask you to answer everything else in the chat. Before we bring up Poplar Point, because I realize that's probably going to take a little bit more discussion, I do want to welcome Robert Norris, who's a homeowner who has a quick request from the ANC. I think you just have a couple of minutes where you just want to ask us for support for a special exemption. I don't want to keep you all night. But go ahead, Mr. Norris. What's your request?
Good evening. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm here on representing two senior citizens that live at 1535 25th Street Southeast, and they want to add 2 bathrooms. They have to go up. They have 1 bathroom in their home. They have a set of steps that it takes them 16 steps to get to the platform at the top of the stairs to access that 1 bathroom. Alan Norris Permitting and Inspections has subsequently put in submitted a building permit application for that. Zoning directed us to the BZA. The confusion is that they think that we're going over the lot occupancy, and in reality, we're using the side porch of the existing porch. I have some photos that might better exhibit that for you, but I don't know if you have time for me to share them with you. But we would, is it okay to share them with you? I can't hear you.
Yeah, you can share your screen.
Okay.
So you're looking for the ANC support for a zoning exemption?
Yes.
But you're not going outside of your property lines?
Yes, these are the steps that I'm showing you here.
Okay, are you gonna impact any of your neighbors at all with this construction?
Not at all. Their lot is on the corner. Their house is on the corner. It has a fence. It is going to be placed on 2 levels. They're going to put one in the bedroom upstairs, and they're going to put one in the living room area. And the picture that shows that is, I'm trying to show you the cover sheet here. I don't know if you all can see that, but that side porch is where they're going to be housed on the first entry level and on the upstairs level. And these are professional drawings, and it's going to be approximately 140 square feet. So there's no additional footprint being disturbed. There's no obstruction to vehicular, bike, or pedestrian travel. There's no site adjustments to that or anything of that nature. So we were looking for you all's support. We have a BZA temporary number in already, but we had to, this is part of the process, is to get support from the neighborhood. I also have a surveyor with 10 to 15 signatures from all the surrounding neighbors who couldn't believe that he had to go through all of this. But so it is what it is. And they've been there for 25 to 30 years.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm hoping that we could get you all support.
Yes, this is Commissioner Davis's SMD. Commissioner Davis, do you have any questions or anything you want to add? We'll do the vote at the end.
Okay.
I don't have anything to add. I've met with him outside of this meeting and surveyed the site, and it's not impacting anything or encroaching on anyone else's property. So I fully support it.
Perfect.
And
Any
I'd
other
like-
commissioners? Any questions? Okay. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and do the vote at the end of the night, Commissioner Davis, if that is okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, everyone. Sorry, y'all. I'm fading. I'm just getting back. I'm still like adjusting time difference. I'm like fading. Okay, let's continue the meeting. I think next we have someone asked to give an announcement before Poplar Point. Is that Megan from DC Office of Planning? Is your hand raised, Megan? Megan, can you raise? Okay, I see you. Okay, go ahead, Megan, and then we're gonna get to Poplar Point.
Hey, Commissioner, thank you so much. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Hi, everybody. I just want to make a quick announcement before my colleagues with Poplar Point share their presentation. I'm Megan Schott, the Deputy Project Manager of DC 2050, which is the district's next comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan outlines the community's long-range vision for growth and development. It establishes the policies and priorities that guide land density of development, form of buildings, and informs zoning, budget, city facilities and infrastructure for the coming years, and it starts to be implemented in 2028. We are just in the visioning phase of this plan, and we have a survey out that closes May 18th. So we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear from your constituents. We've got some upcoming events as well. So I will drop a link to the website and my contact info in the chat, as well as a link to the vision survey and our newsletter subscription link. Feel free to reach out to me with any additional questions, and thank you all for having me.
Thank you so much, Megan. I do want to stress the comprehensive development process for everyone, because this is really the main opportunity we have to impact what types of development comes to our community. So I encourage everyone to participate as much as possible.
Yes, absolutely. It's a huge opportunity, and we'd love to hear from you and your community. Thank you.
You're welcome. Absolutely. Okay, let's keep going. All right, so with that, Whit, we are going to pass it over to you. Welcome back to the ANC. We've seen you in so many different capacities.
Yes, thank you. I'm here with my colleague, Stan Wall, and he is going to share his screen, and I'm going to run through just a very brief intro. And then understanding we have to be respectful of time, we are going to, you are sharing this, not that. Oh, yeah. And to be respectful of time, we're going to try to fly through the presentation and then leave some room for questions. Just going to wait a couple seconds. There we go. All right. Good evening, commissioners and community members. I'm Whit Smith with the Deputy Mayor's Office for Planning and Economic Development. I'm here with Stan Wall of HRNA, who is acting as the owner's rep on this project. I'm the project manager and project lead for the Poplar Point plan and provide oversight on the transfer of Poplar Point to the district. The project's purpose in the short term is to facilitate the conveyance of land from the federal government to the District of Columbia and implement a land use plan for Poplar Point. In the long term, this planning process is a major step in redeveloping Poplar Point to realize the vision of the AWI and the goals of the district to bring economic, cultural, and recreational opportunities to both sides of the Anacostia River. We see the conveyance and redevelopment of Poplar Point as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to improve and develop Poplar Point into a community amenity, spur revitalization efforts east of the Anacostia River, improve access, and expand the recreational amenities within Southern Anacostia Park. As an initial step in partnership with the National Park Service, the district will complete the Poplar Point plan, which comprises of an environmental assessment and master plan. The EA will yield a land use plan that will facilitate the transfer of Poplar Point from the National Park Service to the district. The master plan is a detailed plan that guides how development will occur at the site, but first will inform the rezoning of the site. The master plan will be completed in partnership with the Office of Planning. From here, I will transition and have Stan Wall take over for the rest of the presentation.
Great. Excuse me. Good evening, everyone. My name is Stan Wall. I'm with HRNA Advisors. HRNA, in partnership with AECOM, are working with the Office of the Deputy Mayor for Planning and Economic Development, serving as owner's representative, helping in advancing the Poplar Point plan and environmental assessment. And happy to be here with you this evening to talk more about the planning process, where we've been, where we're going, and where you can find more information. Before I start, I've dropped a link in the chat, publicinput.com/poplarpoint, where you can find all manner of information about this project, all of the meeting minutes, meeting agendas, presentation materials that have been used to date that kind of help you understand where we've been in the planning process, as well as information about upcoming meetings that will be happening in the future. To start, I want to walk through the requirements that are guiding us in the Poplar Point planning process. This site is currently controlled by the National Park Service, It's going to be transferred to the District of Columbia in accordance with the 2006 DC Lands Act. And that legislation requires 4 key areas. One, we have to reserve no less than 70 acres of land for park purposes. Out of the 110-acre site, 70 acres must remain for park purposes. We need to identify and relocate the existing National Park Service and United States Park Police facilities that are currently on site. We need to find a new location for those facilities off of the Poplar Point site. Within the Poplar Points plan, we need to determine at least 2 sites within the park for placing commemorative works that will be established pursuant to the Commemorative Works Act. And then finally, to the greatest extent practicable, we must be consistent with the Anacostia Waterfront Initiative Framework Plan. So these are the key requirements that will enable transferring this property from the National Park Service to DC. To advance the environmental assessment process, we were required to develop 3 land use planning alternatives, as well as a no action alternative in terms of leaving the site as is. Some of the alternatives focus on different elements, including preserving all wetlands, preserving the forwarded wetlands, mitigating wetlands, as well as no action. These alternatives were meant to test different approaches to developing a site that were used to develop a final preferred land use plan. Additional areas that are considered as part of this planning process, including those areas designated for park purposes, adjacent parcels around the site that could be developed, as well as the site to accommodate relocated park facilities. All of these are part of the land use planning alternatives process. As we look at how we want to move the Poplar Point site forward, we were guided by 6 very critical planning principles. And these are things that have been expressed within the AWI framework, as well as things that we've been hearing from the community throughout our engagement since we kicked off this process. These principles include expanding the wetlands, celebrating the point, rediscovering the shoreline, building on adjacent projects, including the Bridge District to the west and the 11th Street Bridge Park to the east, focusing development on Metro Rail access, and then making sure that we connect with existing neighborhoods such as historic Anacostia, which has been cut off from its waterfront by the 295 for far too long. We have, as I mentioned, been engaging with the community since February in many different venues. We've had open houses, community meetings. We had an on-site walking tour. We are going to be tabling at the Anacostia River Fest this coming Saturday. We'll be there on site for 5 hours. So we would look for many different ways to make sure that we are inviting the community to events as well as going to the community. We also visited the Anacostia Coordinating Council last month to provide a similar overview of this planning process. From all of these different points of engagement, we heard 144 official comments submitted within the National Park Service public input site. But beyond those 144, we've actually had over 1,000 touch points in terms of different places where people have either put a post-it note on a board or told us their feedback live and in person, or responded via email or some other point. 1,000 different ways that people have been providing input into this process. Then I do want to walk through very quickly some of the things that we've already heard and some of those areas that are going to be focused on driving the direction we go for that preferred alternative. We heard a lot about wetlands and floodplains, and the community has expressed the need to make sure that we see the value of these wetlands and flood mitigation, wildlife diversity, and also how the wetlands can serve as an educational opportunity for residents and visitors. So we want to make sure we incorporate that facet into the planning process. We heard that the community wants open space and open access to the riverfront, creating interconnected of parks, realizing that the Anacostia Park, the 70-acre park here, is part of a much bigger system. It's part of the 1,100 acres of the entire Anacostia Park system, stretching all the way up, upriver on the Anacostia to the DC border. So we want to make sure that this part responds to and is interconnected with that broader system, so the community has that access and jumping off point to the entire Poplar Point, entire Anacostia Park system. We heard a lot about views and making sure that this site is visually connected to the areas on the west side of the river, that part of the city is connected back to Anacostia. The historic Anacostia can view this site and view across this site to the historic view corridors of the Capitol, the monuments, and making sure that connection visually is preserved as part of the development process. As I mentioned earlier, we need to have commemorative works. We have to reserve at least 2 official sites for commemorative works, but we also hope to look for different ways that this site can celebrate, the history of this site. Going back to the indigenous peoples that were on this land, as well as connecting to the broader history of historic Anacostia and what this land and what this site means to the broader community. In terms of transportation, the community and the feedback we heard really focused on how do we connect Poplar Point to the existing neighborhood. Right now, we have one underpass at Marion Barry, and we have the connection at Howard Road, but otherwise it's very difficult because of the wall that I-295 presents between historic Anacostia and Poplar Point. So through our efforts in this planning process, we want to make sure that we find as many ways to better connect this site to historic Anacostia. In terms of development, we heard that the community wishes to make sure that any mixed-use development is connected to what's already happening with the Bridge District, that it's connected to the metro, and that we concentrate development right around the metro, and it also connects to the development activity that's happening in historic Anacostia. So again, our plan will be responsive to that feedback and make sure that we concentrate our development in a way that connects those existing development areas and drives economic development for historic Anacostia and the broader community. We've also heard quite a bit of perspectives around the anchor use in terms of should that anchor use be on the point? Should it not be on the point? Where should it be within the site to preserve all of the other things that are important as part of the site? And we're continuing to evaluate different impacts of how we might incorporate the anchor use within our site. Today, we had a community meeting at Thurgood Marshall, where we're currently sitting, and we presented a draft of that preferred alternative. That will be posted on that website that I linked in the chat. So you can go there and kind of see how the plan is beginning to respond to all of these different areas of feedback that we've heard so far from the community. And I want to reinforce that this is a draft alternative. We're not done yet. And through meetings like this, we're trying to get the word out as much as possible to engage and to encourage not only 8A, but all of the ANCs, the broader community, to come and participate and make sure your voice is heard as part of this process, so we can continue to refine this plan and ensure that it does reflect what the community is needing and wanting out of Poplar Point. This final slide just shows kind of where we've been in the engagement process. I mentioned a lot of these meetings that we've had to date, as well as some of the outreach we've done into the community. Our next briefing will be in June. At that time, we will have released the draft environmental assessment for public comment. And again, we really, really want to hear from you, because that helps us shape this to make sure that final environmental assessment, the final plan, truly reflects what the community needs and wants out of this site. So we will continue to be in touch with the ANC and make sure that you're aware of these meetings, make sure that where the direction this project is headed, and ensure that you can engage. And please do, if you're available, if you can, come out on Saturday to the Riverfest. We'll be there for all day, and drop by the table to ask any additional questions that you might have about the process or where we're going with the Poplar Point plan. And that concludes the presentation. And Commissioner, happy to take questions from folks for a little bit.
Thank you so
I
much.
know you have a packed agenda. We only had 10 minutes, so we'll try to be efficient.
No, thank you so much. We have time for questions. I want to also just note that, mention the communities that surrounded our historic Anacostia plus the greater Anacostia and Farallon. So just making sure to be inclusive of the entire community that surrounds it when you're doing the outreach as well. This is in, I believe, 8A06, Commissioner McKinney's SMD, or is it Commissioner Foreman's? I can't remember. But let's start with Commissioner McKinney. Any questions before we go to the community?
Yeah, I know the community had a lot of questions pertaining to this project. What's the estimate time that this project will be completed? And are you all still taking community feedback pertaining to this? And good to see you, Whit. Haven't seen you in a while.
Great to see you. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, congratulations.
Yes, great questions. We are tracking again to complete the environmental assessment within the next couple of months. Our focus is really on the transfer of the land. With the transfer of the land, we're hoping to move through a master plan. Then we have to zone the property, Then we have to go through the process of redevelopment, which may entail RFPs, which is the disposition of land for redevelopment. But it is a lengthy process. And then layering on the fact that we have to relocate the MPS and Park Police facilities from Poplar Point to another site. So it's very hard to put a date on when things will be complete. But I can say, you know, as we're progressing, we're tracking per our milestone schedule with the hope of finishing the environmental assessment within the next couple of months.
Thank you. Oh, go ahead, Commissioner.
No, that was it. Thank you.
Yeah. Before we get to the community, I know we have a couple hands raised already. Does any other commissioners have any initial questions for the Poplar Point team? I know the communities are going to bring up Therm. That's the big elephant. So we're definitely going to get to that. But any outside of Therm from the commissioners? Okay. Ayanna, let's go ahead and go over to you, and then we'll go to former Commissioner Fuller.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if Therm is being reconsidered as the anchor tenant given the New York Times investigation. Just want to know, how are you all moving forward with them in good faith, if you are?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we're very early in the process. So the RFEI that was issued is a separate process from the environmental assessment. We've been laser focused on the EA. We've been laser focused on having the land transferred so that we can unlock the potential. The RFEI process basically concluded with Therma as the anchor tenant or proposed anchor. It's again very early. We're still going through our diligence generally. So we intend to conduct a diligence phase before we move forward with anything. But first and foremost, we have to complete the environmental assessment.
Ayanna, you have.
I'm just trying to understand the process. So you do the environmental assessment first, and then is there a space for reconsideration for the anchor tenant, or is that your responsibility?
We have to complete our diligence. Yeah, where we believe Therma is a compatible use, but we have to go through a diligence process before any sort of advanced agreement or any disposition or any redevelopment would occur. So we have plenty of time to evaluate them, their company, their character, and whether or not they're compatible.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to follow up to her, if I may, and Patrick, I'm going to try to elevate you once I figure out how. And ask, what's that process, or is there going to be kind of community input for that due diligence process? Or if you could kind of tell folks like what that process entails. I think there's some concerns because, you know, we've had quite a few major developments come in, like Good Foods, right? And it seems like they had lawsuits all over the country as well for setting up communities that have been disinvested, getting taxpayer and philanthropic funding, and closing after a year and a half. And they, you know, closed in Ward 5, but still got funding to open in Ward 8, you know. So I think there's concern about that due diligence process because we've seen it happen before in Ward 8. So I just want to put that out there because that is a concern of mine. And I think it's some of our neighbors, but I do want to, maybe while y'all think about that, welcome Patrick and then Christina.
Thank you, Chair White. Yeah, just really quickly, and thank you, Mr. Smith and team, for joining the call. What you're describing seems like something that should have been done before it was announced by the mayor's office as the chosen tenant. I might be mixing up the phrasing here, but we would have probably assumed that process would have been completed before it was publicized as the selected vendor for the spot. So can you maybe speak to how that process works? Like, it seems like that should have happened first. So why didn't that happen first?
The request for expressions of interest was just that. They were responsive in their response that we received. And, you know, now it's a matter of going through the process of continuing to evaluate. So we're constantly evaluating that. Again, our energies has been laser focused on completing the environmental assessment. We are prioritizing the transfer of land again to unlock these opportunities for the community and DC generally.
Patrick, did you
And
have?
I do want to, if I can add on to which response, they are, while the site, the preferred alternative in the plan, contemplates an anchored use, within Poplar Point. Our goal is focused on how do we get this land from the National Park Service and how do we transfer that to the district, so the district can better control the destiny of the site and advance the master planning process. We're going to keep advancing that process to get the city control of the site, to realize all those broader goals. So this is 110 acre sites. 70 acres of this site, over 2/3 of the site, will be a park. It'll be the second largest park for DC after Oxen Run. Another, 25 acres will be mixed use development, that is responsive to, the needs that the community's been asking for in terms of, housing, amenities, retail, economic development, business development. That'll be another, 25 more acres of the site. 15 of those 110 acres are what's being reserved for an anchor use. So we want to make sure that our plan moves forward because there's a tremendous range of benefits that this site is going to bring for the broader Anacostia and Ward 8 and East of the River communities that we want to see realized. And that's the focus. There is this separate process of as Whit mentioned with regard to the negotiation, the due diligence, the review of Therma as that anchor. That's a separate process that's proceeding kind of in parallel, and that will be subject to its own reviews. At some point there'll be council hearings with regard to that ultimate disposition, and there'll be a lot more community input with regard to exactly how that that process moves forward with Therma as the anchor. But our first focus is making sure that we can advance this land plan so we can actually start moving on all of these pieces that again will begin bringing that benefit to Ward 8. I hope that helped a little bit in terms of like parallel processes, and there'll be a lot more time for ongoing engagement, dialogue, input from the community on both processes.
Yeah, just really quick, Chair White, if you don't mind. I really appreciate that update, Mr. Wall. I don't think we're asking about the other part of that parallel process. We're all really excited and engaged in that as well. But I'm reading from the mayor's announcement from earlier this spring that it says that the mayor's office and DEMP had announced that the district has selected Therm Group's proposal to bring this. And so we're being told we have opportunities to provide feedback on that. And the messaging is clearly indicating that we do not. So we appreciate that there are parallel paths to these things, but you don't seem to be directly addressing the elephant in the room, which is that the phrasing here has been selected by the mayor's office and DEMPED. And it feels like the feedback is being requested and not accepted in any way. So I appreciate you all joining and providing an opportunity to provide feedback here, but it seems like a decision that's been made and it's not being communicated that way as we're asked for more feedback. But thank you for the information.
Patrick, I also encourage you to attend that ACC meeting where the mayor is going to be, and maybe try to get more community members to be able to ask some of these questions. Mr. Pressberry, do you have a question?
Yeah, regarding the relocation of the Park Service headquarters and Park Service police, will that be the responsibility of the district? The district has to give up land somewhere else, or could it be on some current Park Service land?
Yeah, that's a good question. Not necessarily district land. However, we're evaluating a number of sites. I would so it could either be federal land or it could be district land, but we're evaluating a number of options right now that we're studying through the EA.
And I just want to be clear. 70 acres has to be reserved as park space.
No fewer than 70 acres, right?
No fewer than 70. Okay, thank you. That was all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pressberry. Christina Hansen.
Hey, good evening, Whit and Stan. Thanks for coming out to Thurgood Marshall this evening. I do want to circle back. Actually, what I was going to ask and say was very similar to what Patrick shared. Respectfully, we are hearing some very common phrasing and talk points at every single one of these sessions now. I believe this is my fourth time that I have engaged in some way, and it's early in the process, early in the process, early in the process. And the March 20th press release absolutely contradicts in terms of Therme being selected. I shared with you all some of my concerns at the walking event of Poplar Point. And so I want to name, it's sounding like collectively we are not opposed to the required 70 acres and that required park development and those pieces. We are concerned as a community of what businesses the mayor is deciding that she's going to bring in come hell or high water, whether the community wants it or not. I am a Ward 7 resident, but work on behalf of Ward 8 schools. And with this Commander Stadium, for example, she stood in Eastern High School and basically said, this stadium is coming whether you like it or not. She has uttered those words to her constituents. And so truly asking that, or naming that it's early in the process is not an acceptable response at this point. We are hearing the same thing over and over again about that. There are some significant issues with Therme Group. It is clear that it has been selected, that it is the desired anchor post, and transparency would be greatly appreciated. And again, I'm here on behalf of schools. One of the reasons I am staying on top of this is because there should be a very robust CBA agreement that goes in place that our schools should benefit from such anchor posts, and any private development that comes. And it is very disheartening to see what looks like shady business deals taking place again in Ward 8. And so I'm just going to speak transparently about that.
Thank you, Christina. That's gonna be our last comment. Sorry, y'all, we have to move on. Whit, do you want to reply?
Yeah, I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate the participation in the
Hold on,
process
I'm sorry,
generally.
Whit. Commissioner McKinney,
Yes.
were you trying to talk?
Yes, I just want to reply to
Okay, you was on
the-
mute.
okay, my apologies. We as the ASC commission over here in A8 Historic Anacostia Fair Lawn area, we make sure that we negotiate fair CBA agreements, and we make sure the developers does it as well. So we make sure the schools that are in AA and what's left over that we can stretch out so that other communities are able to benefit. But we make sure that we take care of our community first. So I just want to make sure that she was aware of that.
Thank you, Commissioner McKinney. Okay, Whit, I'm gonna push it back over to you.
Yeah, no, thank you again. Just to reiterate, my thankfulness for everyone participating in the process generally. We understand that everyone is passionate and excited about seeing Poplar Point redeveloped. We also realize that the request for expressions of interest and the language around that has been more information will be required. And I think that's something that will work on our side to be transparent about. So as we go through this diligence process, we will have that conversation. Also noting that any dispositions or any agreements of that sort will require council approval. So there is opportunity moving forward for community input. I encourage everyone, please go to the public input page for Poplar Point. Please see, the work that we've done, the touch points that we've made, and the progress that we've made, because we believe this is an iteration of something very reflective of what the community wants from what we've heard. But we want to hear from you. So please feel free, again, going to the site and emailing any of us. We look forward to engaging in the future. We look forward to coming back. Thank you again for your time. I know it's late. Thank you for bearing with us. And it's good to see a lot of you again.
Thank you, Whit. There are some comments in the chat. If you and Stan could maybe get to them. You might
Sure.
have to scroll up a little bit from Arrington District, Arrington, Dixon, Patrick O'Keefe, and a few others. Okay, we are going to round out the night. We have House of Ruth coming back to the ANC. I believe this is the third time, maybe fourth time. And if we have the second time, okay. At least I ain't seen House of Ruth 3-4 times, I'll say. So we're gonna turn it over to House of Ruth.
Okay, well, thank you, and Commissioner White, and thank you all of you that are on. Yes, we've been here. I think this might be the third time, but hopefully the third time is a charm. I wanted to share with the entire community, for those of you that don't know who House of Ruth is, that we have been around for 49 years here in the Washington, D.C. area, and we provide supportive services to women, children, and families who are survivors of domestic violence and being unhoused. We have 12 housing programs, 12 service-enriched housing programs, combination of transitional housing, permanent supportive housing, scattered site housing in all wards of the city. We actually have 3 housing programs in Southeast in this particular area. We also have a child development center that's in Ward 7, and some of you may be familiar with the brand new site. Is 3 years old now. That is in Ward 7 as you cross over Minnesota Avenue and going up Pennsylvania Avenue. Very bright building for our children. And then we have our own counseling center that we use to help our survivors heal from the trauma that they've experienced in domestic violence situations. Our goal always is to help families, particularly their moms, move forward in life and become independent and able to sustain themselves and to actually have independent housing. That's our goal. So we provide an array of services to do that. All of our services are free. There's no charge for those services. They are safe houses, so you would know our buildings, and that's why we're really strict about that, because we want to keep our women and our children safe because of the violence that they have, experienced over their lives. But again, our major goal is to help them to move forward, and we've had success. Obviously, we haven't been around for 49 years without some level of success. We've seen our women move forward and be able to acquire jobs in the banking industry, we have social workers and nursing field, IT field, I mean, you name it, teachers. They have really gone on to do some great things, and we're really proud of what our ladies are able to do, and moms. And we know that, when you have strong families, you have strong children, and that's our goal, to make sure the lives of these children, the trajectory of their lives are changed forever. We are moving more of our graduates, and that's what we call them once they have finished our programs. Many of them have gone on even to purchase homes as well, because we've started introducing home ownership programs for first-time home buyers. So several of our families have been able to purchase their own homes, which is great, because that helps them build generational wealth, which is something, again, we think is important for families. And more recently, we have understood from our women is that how difficult it is once they leave us, and having, obviously not had to worry about costs for housing because of our housing being free, that they can't really afford to live in the communities that, their children are part of, they are part of, they are comfortable with, because the housing is so expensive. So we are embarking on an affordable housing initiative on one of the sites where we have been for almost 30 years in Ward 8 to develop a 40-unit affordable housing complex. I've been wonderful to work with Commissioner Davis. She has visited the site there on Minnesota Avenue where we currently are. We purchased the building next door where we're expecting to be able to expand this to bring on those 40 units. We work with our women for them to tell us exactly what they would like in an affordable housing. And I think what's unique about this that I want to say is this is for individuals that have an AMI income of anywhere from 30 to 50%. A lot of the affordable housing that's coming on the market is for a higher AMI, and our families don't qualify. So this is a unique quadrant of housing that would be available to them. We're very excited about this. I'd like to continue to work with the ANC. I'd like to continue to work with Commissioner Davis around this, about, you know, how, as we move forward, we love that support and that partnership. And we want to do, you know, more of that in the community. Again, we've been there almost 30 years. Some of you may not know that, but we've been in the community all along. So this is not new. And many of our participants in our programs are from the Ward 8 community. And so this is a community that they're familiar with and a community they would like to continue to stay in. So our ask is that we can continue to work together. As I've met with Commissioner Davis several times, she's been out to our site, she's seen the site, she's heard about our program, and she seems to be very supportive of it. Let her speak for herself. But we're excited about moving forward. Obviously, it's not going to happen overnight. This is a building project. We have gone through the BZA and we have moved, you know, we've successfully completed that process. And our goal is simply to have the community support to make sure that these families can have the decent housing and affordable housing that they need to be able to raise their families.
Thank you so much, Ms. Jackson. I want to turn it over to Commissioner Davis. If you have any comments or questions, and then if any other commissioners, and just to confirm, you're already in the buildings operating. Some of the residents who are already in your buildings will be staying, and this will be 24-hour staff buildings?
Yeah, this is another unique piece about our affordable housing. We are going to include some level of staffing. Obviously, it won't be to the degree that our programs are, but we're going to make sure that we do have some supportive staff on site, because we know sometimes families do run into, you know, situations and challenges, and we want to make sure that they can continue to move forward and not fall back. So yes, there will be some level of staffing, and we always have security in our building at night. That will be a continuance of what we will do.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Davis?
I just want to say it has been a pleasure working with Ms. Jackson, getting to know about the House of Ruth program and all the phenomenal work that they've been doing. As she stated, I have gone down there several times, toured the property, and gotten to know a lot of the staff, and I support what they're trying to do, and I think it's a welcome addition into the community. And I think that a project like this could do nothing but encourage the other apartments around it to raise their standards and hopefully improve the look and feel of the community. But what they're bringing is exceptional. I like the building layout, and I just hope the other buildings around it take heed and up their game.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Do you have any other questions for the rest of the commissioners? I do want to ask one more before anyone. You did do like a bunch of community engagement and get sign-on support. And then
yes, we did. We held a community meeting, you know, and you know, people were very favorable comments. They certainly had questions, but very favorable, thought that it was a great project. Some did, as I said, didn't know we were there, didn't know what we do, but knew that there was a difference in our building because we only owned the one building for the many years, and we recently bought that second building. So they knew there was a marked difference between the building that, you know, we had versus the other building that was owned by a previous landlord. And yes, we did get sign off on a petition from community members who did support the project.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. We asked if you can answer those questions in the chat, or someone from your team, from former Commissioner Fuller. Is this new construction or building? I think you answered it. This is an existing.
Yes, it is. It would be new construction. And they're asking where is the property, the building we currently own is at 18th and Minnesota Avenue. And so there's two buildings that actually sit there in that sort of diamond shaped area. We own the one, we purchased the other one. So it would be a redevelopment of that space.
And you already, the one you own, you operate out of currently?
Yes, we operate that now, yes, and have been for the last 30 years.
Okay, perfect. Any other commissioners? Donahue, Foreman, Redmond, McKinney, Moore? All right. Thank you, everyone. Any other community comments? Please raise your hand or put them in the chat. We thank you all for hanging in there with us. We're going to end our meeting on time, y'all. We're going to end our meeting on time. All right, let's go ahead to some votes for tonight. So I know we have a couple of votes from 8A01. I'm sorry, not 8A01. Everyone, I will confuse 8A01 and 8A03 for a couple of months until I get it right. I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep confusing you all. I know we have some votes from 8A03. All right, one question from LaJoy. LaJoy, you can go ahead and ask your question. No, we don't need you. Do you have a question, LaJoy? We don't need you. We love you, but we don't need you. Okay, thank you. All right, Donahue, are you talking or are you talking to yourself? Donahue, you talking? No, not so. Okay, you coming back. All right. All right, let's go. Let's do the first vote for our FY25 fiscal year 2025 quarter two finance report. Quarter two is for the months of January, February, March. That is the first quarter of this new commission. So this will be this new commission's actual first finance report. As you all know, the previous one was from a previous commission. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and present the report. And you can also find these reports online on the OANC's website, I believe, or somebody's website on the government. And Commissioner Foreman, I'm going to ask you to walk us through this. And then there's questions in the chat for DDOT and some other folks, if you all don't mind answering those if they're directed at you. All right, Commissioner Foreman, over to you.
Okay, let me see here. Let me share this, get this up here.
I'm sharing my screen. I hope y'all can see.
Okay. I lost this in the thing, but here we go.
Can you see my screen, Commissioner?
Here, my old eyes here. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it. Let me see. I got the same thing you have here up right now. Come on up here. Okay, like I said, this is the quarterly financial report for FY25, second quarter. Let's see right there, we brought a balance forward of $22,529.34. And we move on down the list there. You see we got receipts, allotment of $8,200. Let me make sure my eyes. Yeah, $8,200 there. And no interest in the deposit. We got the 1% there. And no transfers from safe. So we wind up with $8,201. And move on down here. So we got a total funds available out of that $30,729.35. So we had no real expenditures, as you see throughout there, disbursements. We had none, which brings us back to our balance down the bottom of $30,729.35.
Thank you, Commissioner Foreman. Community members, do you have any questions? Where's my Miss Lynch? You don't got no questions for us, Miss Lynch? You online, Miss Lynch? All right, yeah, so like Commissioner Foreman said, we didn't have any expenditures for the month. We got DDOT allotments, and everyone who doesn't know how ANC finances work, our allotments come in arrears. So they come after reports have been approved. So we got allotments based on the previous commissions. So Donahue.
I would appreciate if the commission gets any notices or memos from the Office of the ANC, that they be brought to the commission's attention in full for the public to see as well. We have recently received, and I'm sure that they've been cleared out. I know that Commissioner Foreman and I spoke briefly this morning or earlier today, but I think that these memos are important, and that they should be at least mentioned and discussed. So we have a couple of memos, one dated March 31st.
Oh, Tom, hold on. We're not going to discuss those. We can talk about if we want to bring those, but notices of intention are to let us know if, hey, you have a receipt missing, if you have this, etc. The commission goes back and provides anything that you have, and then they come out with the final. So this is like to look at our finance report. If you want to have that at a legal meeting or have it and bring up to understand the process of back and forth, we can, but we're going to look at this finance report right here.
My point, and that's fine. We can do it at legal meetings, but I think that these are.
But the notices of intention, no, they are for the commission for us to understand anything that's missing. And once it's filed, then there's an actual record that goes on file for the public. And that's what is public and legally in the mandate. So
there are certain, like, there's requirements, like there's something that's required by May 15th. And I'm trying to cause, questions I am asking about.
Yeah. So that's what we handle internally. So what's required by May 15th, we got to submit the report. The Office of ANC sets the deadlines. For instance, they know that ANCAA, we're on recess in April. They give us extensions because we don't vote in April for anything. So before we actually be cleared out for this quarterly report, we have to vote on minutes for January, February, and March. So this quarter won't be closed out until those minutes are approved. And so we will have to do that by June in order to clear that out. So that process, let's talk about it during the process, but unless it's like specifically an issue with the finance report, let's use that time tonight for this. And going through the process, like they're all kind of set the dates, and we're out. We don't vote in April, and they know that. That's why they're like, oh yeah, you all don't. You have more time to submit everything. But we always submit our quarter two at the May meeting because we recess in April.
Okay, but I'm just saying for the purpose of transparency, I think that these are.
It's being transparent. What the ANC puts out after they go through everything to not confuse the public, and then they'll be like, cited for this, no receipt for this, turned in this late. It'll be clearly laid out, and people will tag it on the internet and Facebook and let us know because it's public and they send out a report. So,
but I'll move on. Our minutes.
Hold on. No, I want to stop with this report before we move on to another subject because let's get through the finance report. So bring the minutes back. Any questions from any other commissioners or the community on this finance report? We had 8,000 coming from the ANC. That's 2 previous allotments from where they cleared previous financial reports after a thorough audit. No spending. We very rarely spend in the first quarter of the year because it's a new commission and we just had to get set up. Any more questions? Commissioner Davis, you're off mute.
Oh, no.
All right. I want to ask, this can't be done by the commissioner format, a vote. Can I get a motion to approve the FY 2025 quarter 2 finance report?
I motion.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Commissioner McKinney. Go ahead, Commissioner Davis, if you can motion it, and we'll get Commissioner McKinney to second.
Motion to approve the 2025 budget report.
QR quarter 2.
Oh, QR. Motion to approve the 2025 budget report for QR2.
Thank you. And can I get a second to approve the FY 2025 QR quarter 2 finance report?
I second the motion.
Okay. Thank you. Up for a discussion. Okay. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Foreman, you can vote. You just can't motion it.
Yeah, come off mute.
Aye.
Okay. Any abstentions? Any oppositions?
I'll say no for lack of minutes.
Okay, perfect. So the vote passes 6-1. No, 6-0-1. 6-0-1 for the minutes more. The 0 is extensions. Okay, I'm gonna pass it. Oh, debit card. This commission talked about getting a debit card. For those who don't know, the ANCs are now allowed to get debit cards. We are not allowed to use them, but for very, very specific purposes. I will put the link in the chat where you can look at the government's website about where we can use those. And right now there's a lot of people don't take checks anymore like they used to. So what has to happen is the chair or the treasurer has to pay for anything like laptops where they don't accept checks and get reimbursed. And that is cumbersome because you have to come out of pocket first.
So everyone, this is the guidelines. I'm sorry, it didn't, I'll do it. The guidelines in the chat on where you can find how the debit cards have to be used. There's forms we have to fill out and everything. But I would like to ask for a motion for ANC 8A to apply for a debit card that can only be used for the guidelines specified, such as normal bill pay, pre-approved expenses, and places where checks are not allowed. Can I get a motion? Commissioner Foreman,
Yes.
can you say the full?
Motion
I
to
can-
apply for.
That's right. Motion to apply for a debit card.
Thank you. A motion to apply for a debit card for uses within the statute. Can I get a second?
I second.
Commissioner McKinney seconds. Any discussion?
Yeah, I think would it be a good idea for us to come up with internal policies as far as like if one of us requests the use of it or need to use it, that there be some sort of request, or not that it has to be approved, but notice that.
That's a good question. There's actually a whole process and a form we have to fill out to use the debit card for every purchase outside of like a bill pay. We can't just like use it. So the OANC has that full policy for us, and those are forms that we'll have to fill out before using it.
Okay.
So like we'll go through a process. So they laid out the process in order for ANCs to be able to legally allow to use it. But this will not be just to be used by any commission. There's 8 or 10 specific areas you can only use it for, and we will have to use it for those and nothing else.
But there'll be some sort of,
when there's not a check accepted.
I mean, I'm basically for it. I just want to make sure that there
is a process. You're the one who recommended it at the legal meeting. So, because I told you this commission didn't do it before, we just would come out of pocket money. But no, there's a whole process we have to go through. We talked to Dawn, and every time we do a purchase that's not a bill or something, we have to fill out a form, and it has to go to 2 people.
for the supplies that we voted for earlier. Does that have to have a form? Like, does that have to have notification that we used it or requested it, or?
So for instance, if you look at like that second page, I don't think we can, so office supplies. So we would have to fill out the form showing what we would want to purchase the office supplies for. We wouldn't be able to use it, me and you. Only foreman would be able to do the thing, but then we will all get the notification. So even though it sounds like it's just some office supplies for $50, it's a process still.
So like if one of us needed office supplies, we could go to Commissioner Foreman and.
Yes, so that's how the process, go to Commissioner Foreman and say, this is what I want. Remember, we have a maximum $250 per person per year. And then he has to fill out the form. It comes to us, it's approved, and he goes and makes it, and he gets the receipt.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Now, it's good for the community to understand too, because this is a big difference. Commissioner Rittman, any follow-up from you?
No, I'm good.
All right, so now we can go to the vote. We had discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Moore? Form Rittman?
Aye.
McKinney?
Aye.
All right, motion passes 7-0, and community, we won't be using a debit card before July or August because it's a whole process and even getting one. All right, so I'm gonna turn it over to Commissioner Davis for the last 2 votes. And if any other commissioners has any votes, I think somebody said a vote they wanted to do earlier, but I can't remember. But go ahead, Commissioner Davis. We can't hear you.
Unmute.
Okay, how about now? Sorry about that. My first vote is for the House of Ruth. I move that the ANC 8A vote to approve. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. I'm sorry. For the House of Ruth, I move that the 8A ANC do support the construction of affordable housing apartment building for 40 units at 815 Minnesota Avenue in partnership with the House of Ruth to address the urgent need for safe and low-income housing in our community.
Can I get a second?
A
I'd like to
second.
take a vote. Oh, can I get a second?
Yeah.
A
We got
second.
Commissioner
second,
Foreman,
yeah.
second. Any discussion?
Yeah, can we vote on this if it wasn't, was this on the agenda?
It was on the agenda, House of Ruth.
Was on the agenda.
Yeah, we can vote on it. Any other questions from anyone else? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any abstentions? I think I heard everyone say aye. Did I hear that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Any opposition? Okay, motion passes 7-0.
Okay, the second vote is for the construction approval of the 2 bathrooms. I move that ANC 8A approve a variance with the BZA to install the 2 bathrooms on existing lot at address 1535 25th Street Southeast.
Can I
Can I
get
get a second?
can we get a second?
Yes. Second.
Commissioner Foreman. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Donahue?
Was that on the agenda as well? I was trying to bring it up quick enough.
Yeah, look at
Yeah.
the little square, yeah. That's the
They
address.
presented.
Donahue, you have your vote yet?
Yes, I said yes.
Oh, okay, motion passes 7-0. Does anyone else have any votes they want to bring to the commission
Yeah,
tonight? before-
supposed to vote on the opposition for the project on Shannon Place, remember?
Do you want to vote on
Yes.
that? Or doing it in-
Yes, yes, please.
Okay, what's your vote?
No, not to support it.
Does anybody know where that is? So Commissioner McKinney, can I ask if does everyone feel the Shannon Place, everyone read those emails from Shannon Place, the developer that wants to put that 32 bedroom? They haven't presented yet. They're presenting in June.
But
Their agenda for tonight, but they had that issue out of the country.
Jamila, they keep rescheduling and not showing up to our meetings. I think we need to move forward, please.
Okay, hold on, Robin.
How
I'm
many
sorry.
times have they rescheduled?
We had a community meeting just for them that they canceled the day of. So this is the second one.
Can we
I
please
think we
move?
should vote.
Okay, so the address is 2413 Shannon Place. So the address, I'm gonna put it in the chat.
What are they asking for?
So
That's
they're
that
asking for
facility,
a zoning exemption. Right now, that area is only go ahead, Kate, you can talk after I finish. That area is zoned to be residential. They're trying to get it rezoned to be like a mixed use, like commercial, to put a rehab facility there. If you imagine Shannon Place, you know, that's the street walking to the Anacostia Metro. Like it's one of those grassy corner lots that they're talking about. That's what L
Yeah.
talked to us about earlier, even though the developer is not here. The developer hasn't come before the ANC because he canceled the last meeting.
Yeah, so thank you, Commissioner. So right now it's zoned as RF1, which is so basically it's a 2-family residential lot. That's what's allowed for zoning purposes. And I think the most important point here though to make is that this was a vacant lot that was part of DC's Vacant to Vibrant program. So the lot was auctioned off to developers, and when they purchased the property, they committed to providing affordable housing and/or green spaces. And so what the developer is now proposing is in violation of that program. And he would like to convert the 2-unit residential lot into a 32-bed facility. So that means that each bedrooms, there's 16 bedrooms that are proposed, 2 beds per bedroom. There are no ADA facilities. There's no elevator. This is a residential street right across the street from a school. There's 2 parking spaces that are dedicated. He's proposed 3 to 4 nursing staff that would be available 24/7. It's not in line with the program that was committed to as part of Vacant to Vibrant. And when you think about the street itself, its proximity to the metro, its proximity to a school, the residential character, this was not the intent of the program. This was not the intent of what the lot was sold for. And for the benefit of, potential future medical residents, it is not a building that is sufficiently able to accommodate for the medical needs of what the developer is proposing.
Thank you, Kay, for that really good overview. Commissioners, do you all have a good enough understanding to vote tonight?
No, I do
Yes.
not.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
You do?
yeah.
Okay.
I
What
do.
about Foreman and not Foreman, Donahue and Raymond?
And what was your reason for not attending tonight?
They're out of the country.
They don't have
They
They've done this several times.
switch law firms too, so their former legal representation.
It's in my SMD, so I'm confused why we can't move forward. One
Hold
person
on.
said no.
I know. Hold on, Commissioner McKinney. They also switched lawyers too. Their former law firm dropped them, and they had to get new legal representation. That was the reason for missing the last meeting. But we need to make sure we have enough votes. Donahue and Redmond feel comfortable voting, so we can make sure we have enough votes to move forward.
I'm good with going forward.
All right, Donahue.
Yeah, I'll agree.
All right, so I need somebody to do a motion. Y'all, my lack of energy has nothing to do with anyone on this call. My body is adjusting and I am fading. It feels like it's 4 a.m. for me right now. Donahue, your lips are moving, but
Any comments?
yes, Robert, I'm not sure if you was on. Hey, how you doing, Robert? I didn't see you in a minute. I'm not sure if you were on earlier. I'm gonna get the land use attorney involved in this too. Because we're gonna have to testify if we vote against it. So we're gonna need some legal assistance. Donahue, you said you okay?
Can you,
All right.
McKinley, Commissioner, can you share your stance on, this situation?
This property that's adjacent to someone else's property has been an ongoing issue as far as the foundation and things like that. Also, we need a school. I mean, it's already open air drug market, and I don't see this particular project bringing any type of good to this community. The community doesn't want it, and I'm siding with my community, and it's in my SMD. And not to be smart towards you, I just don't understand that. It's in my SMD. These people have not showed up twice. Whenever it's come time for a community meeting, they do not show up. How long are we going to hold our community? Have them on hold until these people show up. And I just want to move forward.
I
Just
agree
so
with you, Flora.
their hearing is not until July. So the community, I think Kay sent I think Kay put a link to didn't you put something in the Kay?
She put a link to a petition.
I
Oh,
did.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, I could put it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
I think-
can I get
It sends the wrong. No.
Go ahead.
I just
All
wanted
right,
to
so
say, I
let me-
think it sends the wrong message when they purchase. Okay, go on. I'm sorry.
No, you think it sends the wrong message when they purchase?
When they purchase the property under false pretenses and then try to backdoor and get an exemption or an exception to do something different than what what intended purpose is. I don't think that, and I think that we should be trying to maintain as much of our residential community as possible with all of the residential houses being torn down in the feel in the fabric of our community is being destroyed. So I think that I'm not going to support it. So I just think that I don't like the way that they're doing things in the entire community. So I think this is something that we shouldn't allow because it sends the wrong message and it emboldens other developers to do the same thing.
Now, when it comes to a rehab facility though, if we know that we have a ongoing drug problem and we're looking to get resources to those that are experiencing this drug
All
problem,
right, Commissioner Moore, it's not a drug rehab.
it's not, oh, okay. That's what I thought I heard. Okay, okay. That's why I said no,
If it
because I did
was,
not
yeah,
have
it would.
enough information.
Okay. All right,
Yeah.
Commissioner McKinney, can you do the vote? Can you motion to oppose the BZA application for 2413 Shannon Place Southeast?
Will it include like the reasons why that were just discussed?
We'll include that in the actual writing up.
I just,
Yeah, we'll include the reasons, all those reasons you just said.
thanks for the community's input that I'm seeing in the chat, because that's helpful as well for me at least.
Yeah. Commissioner McKinney, can you motion it?
Motion to oppose this project on the zoning BZA.
Motion, hold on.
Yes.
Motion to oppose the BZA application for 2413 Shannon Place Southeast.
Yes.
All right, so Commissioner McKinney motions to oppose the 2413 Shannon Place Southeast BZA.
I'm gonna have to pay the difference.
Okay, can I get a second?
A second.
Seconded by Commissioner Foreman. Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor of the opposition, say aye.
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 Redmond and Donahue, I didn't record y'all's.
I say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And you said aye, Donahue?
Can you hear me?
No, I can't. So motion, that's why I asked y'all, because I really can't. It goes motion passes 7-0. Any other motions tonight?
Can you hear me now? Oh my God.
You can hear you now. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Hello?
That's better. I want to also give Monique Job an opportunity if you have any announcements from us from the chair's office before we adjourn tonight.
Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you. That's good.
I do want to go on the record on something before we close.
Okay, can we let Monique do it and then you be the last comment? Okay, go ahead, Monique.
Good evening, everyone. I really don't have that much to say about any updates that are coming out from our office. We do have a newsletter that comes out monthly. I will put the link in the chat for you to see it. You can get his views on the RFK Stadium that's come up and some of the challenges that we're having with the budget with the mayor's office. Once again, I do want to say that the Ward 8 Constituent Service Office still remains open, and our number has remained the same as 202-724-8045, and my email has stayed the same as well. Please also take advantage of all your at-large council members if you do have constituent services issues, because we're all here to help you out. That's all that I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. Okay, Donahue. Donahue.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. How many people are left in the office? I thought that they had gotten rid of everyone, so I'm glad to hear somebody's there.
I think Monique is the only person. Monique?
Yeah, as it stands, I'm the remaining person that's on the Ward 8 office. Other people have gone to other agencies and some have left altogether, but I remain until we have someone that's seated until after the elections.
Thank you for your service.
Okay. All right.
I want to briefly discuss. I want to issue my apologies on a topic that I've heard from other commissioners with, that I consulted with, and I want to extend my apologies in regards to a block party that we were, that former Commissioner Crawford was planning. And, you know, I took bringing this event to heart, I think, too much, and sort of attempted to take sort of ownership of it, because I really wanted it to be successful. And I think that it's important to recognize that after consulting with some of my colleagues, that that excitement and that desire to have it be successful and was overstepped. And I do apologize to Commissioner Crawford. Not that I took any steps, but in the discussions of everything, I think that I needed to remember that it is an event that is being hosted by a resident of 8801, and I was too eager to make it an ANC thing. So I do wanted to provide that feedback. I do wish Ms. Crawford the best in whichever way she decides to go with the event. I just wanted to make that known. The other thing I would like to note and put on the record is I am concerned about, and I'm glad that Secretary Moore is here. However, I do want to put on the record, we are without any minutes I don't think we've voted on any minutes for any of our meetings for this year, maybe January, but I don't think so. And I want to just be on the record and stressing the importance of getting our minutes completed. Remembering what actually took place 4 months ago is hard to do. And I think that it's our only record keeping of our votes, and it's important to the community because they have requested it. Some people have requested it. So I just wanted to stress that. The last thing I wanted to mention, I know Metro is coming around the corner. I want to remind everybody that every single bus route with Metro is changing. So if you use the bus, please become aware of the fact that every single route, their route numbers, everything is changing. So there's a lot of information about it. And if you didn't know about it, make sure you go on to Metro's website where you can actually you can put in your old route and see what the new route and the new route numbers are going to be, because that's coming up very, very soon. So
can you go ahead and put that in the chat, Commissioner? Thank you for that apology to Commissioner Crawford. Let Commissioner Moore know if you want that reflected in the minutes. Legally, it's not required to be reflected in the minutes. And then just so everyone knows, we record all of our meetings too. So that's not the only copy. If you want a recording too, we have all of the recordings, and people reach out after every meeting. I send the recording out to several people too. Commissioner Moore, do you want to reply to Commissioner Donahue before we allow Marcia? I'm sorry, Marcia, I forgot you were on. Marcia is from Councilmember Henderson's office, just to give 1 or 2 updates before we close out.
No, I have nothing to say. I've reached out via email. If he has any concerns, he can reach out to me directly. Thank you.
Okay, you all can handle that offline. We will be having our minutes back up to date and getting them monthly, starting for the next month. But we're gonna have to do a special meeting probably by the end of this month, just to approve it and people can look over them. And then Marcia, last words. Thank you for sticking around.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for giving me a second to talk, and I'll only take a second. I'm not going to give any really updates on legislation, all these things, but I did want to say, we're still waiting for the budget. Your guess is as good as mine. But I put in the chat when the council's budget hearing schedule is set, it will be at that link. It's on the council's hearing management system. That's how you can sign up to testify. All hearings are hybrid. This budget, more than others, it's critical to hear from residents, especially Ward 8 residents, on what their priorities are, and reactions to the budget. Our office is planning to engage directly with Ward 8, where we had a date, but obviously we have no budget. We can't talk if we don't have a budget yet. When we get a budget, we'll set a date. Always a reminder, I put our Director of Constituent Services contact information, Anna, in the chat. Please reach out to her. Reach out to me for any behavior health. My portfolio includes DBH. I know there's been a lot of concerns about the methadone clinic. We're keeping our eye on it. And that's it. I'm not gonna hold anyone. It's 9:30 and it's time to go to bed. And Commissioner White, I see it in your eyes. You need to get some
You
rest.
see me like playing with my earrings now. I'm like deteriorating for real. All
Yeah,
right.
get some rest. Good night, you all.
I appreciate you, Marcia. I do think maybe the case that Commissioner McKinney was talking about we want to flag it to the council member, Commissioner McKinney, correct, on Shannon Place, because that's, I think, falls into Councilmember Henderson's portfolio.
Absolutely. Commissioner McKinney, please send me an email. I'm going to put my email in the chat once again.
Yes, ma'am, and thank you.
Okay, I think that'd be your good advocate. All right, folks, so the time is 9:33. I motion that we adjourn tonight's meeting. Our next meeting will be the first Tuesday in June. I think that's June 3rd. Can I get a second to adjourn tonight's meeting?
Oh, we're gonna make you stay here that much longer. You're gonna stay right there.
All right,
I second the motion. I second the motion.
Commissioner Redmond, all in favor say aye. No discussion.
Aye.
Good night.
All right, everyone, motion passes 7-0. I'm gonna take everyone as an aye. All right, good night, everyone. Wonderful.
Good night.